Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to a podcast.
The Cheese with a Side of Sammich Podcast. I am Sammy Deedley.
I am Chubby Cheese, but I will be referred to as Sean throughout the duration of this entire thing.
And I'm just Sam.
And Cheese will be Sam. But we're Cheese with a Side of Sandwich because those are our screen name.
And welcome to our first ever podcast. Yay!
Hello, yay!
There's a loud applause going on in the background. Yay!
We'll fix it in post, yay!
Anywho, so this weekend is this day. Fucking fix it in post. Today is the first day of Comic-Con, and I am so super jealous of all those people going.
We live in San Diego, which is where Comic-Con is, and for the most part, we never get to go. Because I'm pretty sure that they prioritize people from places other than San Diego when they're selling tickets. Because what they do is they have you go through that webpage that's like this blue waiting screen, and it puts you in a queue. And I think that they don't let people from San Diego go in because we don't buy hotels. And that's like a big part of downtown's economy.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we get our money is the tourists.
Yeah, so that's why I've tried to go the past 3 years. I've been actively, I would sit up the second that it opens up for sale, I would try and get it. I've gotten in once where I actually went and bought tickets, and that was before they had the queue. Yeah. Back then it was you just had to keep refreshing the page.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
And we would have 5 computers going in the house trying to get into that page just for one of them to buy tickets.
And for those of you who have always tried to buy tickets but never could, let's face it, we live in San Diego and therefore we can't really afford to do anything except for maybe pay rent.
Shit's expensive out here.
Shit's expensive out here.
If you're coming in, if for whatever reason you're listening to this after the fact and you're coming in from another part of the world other than San Diego, and don't understand, and it's cheap to live where you are relative to how much money you make, whatever.
Yeah,
shit's expensive in California.
I went to pump gas the other day, and the price was the Monopoly Man.
Yeah,
just right on the sign there. That's how expensive it is to live in California.
So we wanted, anyway, moving on from Comic-Con, it was kind of Comic-Con was the inspiration because also on top of Comic-Con, Spiderman Homecoming just came out. Yeah. And we, both Sam and I have seen it. Super fantastic. We want to talk about it. However, I want to throw out a warning. We're going to have no restraint on spoilers.
No, obviously.
We're going to talk about everything. So if you're waiting to see the movie, pause the podcast, go watch the movie, unpause this. Exactly.
And you can bitch about our yelling about the movie or what we agree with, what you don't agree with, whatnot. And comment below about how terrible we are. So
we will probably say opinions you don't agree with, such as life, such as the internet. We don't care.
Andrew Garfield is a much hotter Spider-Man.
Andrew Garfield, I don't know if he's harder.
No, he's hotter.
Did you see the abs on Tom Holland though? I'm a straight man, and I was like, damn.
Did you see the abs on Andrew Garfield?
I did.
I liked Andrew Garfield. I really do. He was a great Spider-Man, and then the whole
I liked Emma Stone. Emma Stone's one of my celebrity crushes.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, she's gorgeous. She's a great actress. She just won Best Actress for La La Land too, if I remember.
She did, and I think that movie was super overhyped. But anyway, that's a topic for a different discussion. Homecoming. In my opinion, I'm just going to start off the whole thing with this. I believe the best Spider-Man movie that's been released.
Yeah,
that's
especially since
that's live action.
We can't. How many times are we going to retell Spider-Man? We've done it a million times with Batman. But
and this movie knew it.
This was definitely a great change from killing Uncle Ben.
Yeah, we didn't have to kill Uncle Ben again.
Yeah, we didn't. He's already dead. They didn't even mention him, did they?
No, I don't think Uncle Ben is mentioned at all throughout the entirety of the movie.
It's too much of a soft spot for Aunt May right now.
Well, it seems like the timeline that this works out is much different than it was in, if the Peter Parkers, because Peter Parker gets it, or not Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire. I'm still in that mode where he's still my Peter Parker.
He's still Peter Parker. He always will be. But in a way.
In, I think, that movie, he was a senior in high school when he got his powers, and that's when Uncle Ben died.
Yeah, senior or junior. I think it was more like junior year, because, the following year, No, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, I think he's
because the following year or so...
he's in college.
He's in college, that's right. So about senior year, let's go ahead and place it about that time.
And this one, Peter Parker is a sophomore. Mm-hmm. And Uncle Ben's already dead.
He's already gone.
Yeah. And I would assume that... I don't know, because they don't talk about his origin. It's so weird to have, like, an origin story movie with no origin story. Yeah. Which is what this was.
I feel, and I agree with you there. I feel like that the Andrew Garfield movies was kind of the origin, because, like, unlike the Tobey Maguire movies, where Spider-Man has these spidey senses and these spidey powers, and he could actually shoot webs from his veins or his
which is not canon to the comic books.
Which is not canon to the comic books, no. And I actually found that out when I was probably about 8 to 10 years old, little girl, staying up way past her bedtime, and they were showing some of the old Spider-Man cartoons. And it was Peter Parker as Spider-Man talking to this little girl who just happened to run into Spider-Man as he's hiding in a room or something like that, and he explains to her how he got his powers and his idea for the web shooters. And that's how I found out that Spider-Man doesn't actually have the web shooting powers. No,
Sam Raimi's Spider-Man was the only one that went in that direction. And I kind of get why, because they did want to go in a little bit of a new direction with Spider-Man as opposed to the comics. Like, they wanted it to, I feel, be its own standalone version of that story.
Yeah. Well, Spider-Man up until now, okay, well, I can't remember, you're going to have to remind me, the Andrew Garfield movies, was that owned by Fox, or
it's owned by Sony.
Okay, it's owned by Sony. That's right.
Spider-Man as a character is owned by Sony.
Yeah.
And Sony had to make a special deal with Marvel in order for them to add him to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, which is why they got rid of Andrew Garfield.
Well,
from my understanding, too.
I think that was a different decision. I think because they were planned... So, all right. Okay. When they did Amazing Spider-Man 2... Yeah. During the production, I believe, and somebody's probably going to correct me on this, during the production of Amazing Spider-Man 2, there was a planned third movie.
Yeah, I was all hyped for it. I saw Spider-Man 2 in theaters. I was like, damn, this was such a good movie. I cried.
But during production of Amazing Spider-Man 2, the third one got canceled. Yeah. So they put a bunch of those plot points...
Into Homecoming.
Into Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's why there were so many villains. That's why Gwen Stacy dies. That's why... Because Gwen Stacy wasn't supposed to die till, like, the third, at least to my knowledge. So I think they wanted to do a whole new telling of Spider-Man with a whole new actor. Yeah. Because they are doing a much younger version of Peter Parker than the other movies had done.
Or, it's not so much that he's younger either. It's they got a younger actor rather than like a 20-something playing a 16-year-old.
I'm not 100% sure that. I'm going to look it up right now. I don't know how old Tom Holland is because I'm super curious. He's a gymnast. Like I was watching some behind-the-scenes stuff. He actually is doing the flips and landing in the Spider-Man pose, and he's freaking an insane actor.
That might have actually been my favorite part of the movie. Actually was the big hot dog stand guy who was just like, hey, Spider-Man, do a flip!
He was born the same year as my little sister. He was born in 1996. Oh, so he's 20.
Oh, my goodness. So
he's 21 now.
He's younger than my sister then.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
So he's a young man.
He's a good actor.
Oh, he's phenomenal.
Yes, he is.
I love him. He's my favorite rendition of Spider-Man, and I didn't think anybody was going to beat Tobey Maguire to me. But he did.
Okay, so I'm going back to younger actors. We are not in any way the description of quote-unquote old.
Right.
And we're still very young. But we're getting to that point where all the new actors and actresses are kind of, getting younger than us. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I feel so old.
Well, hold on. Okay, so for reference, I'm 24, and Sam, you're 24.
I'm 24. I just turned 24 in May. Yeah, end of May.
So we're not old, but yeah, we're seeing it's interesting going back and watching
back in my day.
Well, no, Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah.
And seeing all of the new faces whom I have no idea who they are. I consider old when I'm starting to have friends that are having kids on purpose.
Yeah, because they're planned.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the oddball out of my friends because I'm a planned child. Everybody else, I constantly remind Veronica, my best friend, my sister from another mister, that she was an accident. So whenever her mom
That's mean.
Yeah, I know. So whenever her mom, I call her Mama Renee, she's like, oh, Veronica, why'd you do blah, 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 blah? Samantha, Len, you're blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, Ronnie wasn't planned. She's the worst of us.
I was planned, as far as I know. I was planned. I assure you, I was planned. I know I was planned. Anyway, Spider-Man was planned.
Daddy, can you?
I would like to. Well, we don't know a whole lot about Peter Parker's parents. And I don't know the comics version of Peter Parker's parents. I don't know how much they delve into it. Amazing Spider-Man delved into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, it just kind of dipped its toe in the parent waters.
But then the third movie got canceled.
But then, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, no, I didn't go anywhere.
Anyway. So maybe when we're lucky, the next Spider-Man Homecoming, whatever they call it. Welcome home, back to the Marvel Universe, Spider-Man. Spoiler alert!
Yeah.
Maybe they'll dip their toes again into finding out.
Well, because they've already made Tony Stark the father figure. They've already...
I think that's why they didn't bring back Uncle Ben. They're just wanting people to forget about Uncle Ben and ship Tony Stark
as a character, I think, fit that role really well.
Yeah.
In the movie, he very much had the with great power comes great responsibility speech, but like without saying any of those words. Mm-hmm. Like when he's if you're nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it.
That's probably why. Now that I think about it, that's probably why. Because if you think about it, in the original movies with Tobey Maguire, Uncle Ben gave that speech, but Uncle Ben is already gone, and therefore, since we already know that Tony Stark is acquainted with Spider-Man, Peter Parker in the Avengers movie. That's most likely why he's interacting as this role, taking the place of Uncle Ben. Not really.
Not really.
Kind of.
Can't replace Uncle Ben.
Aunt May, how you doing?
Oh man, Marissa Tomei. I'm not. I'm a young man. I like women who are around my age. Mm-hmm. Marissa Tomei, though. Let me just Tomato. Tomei, though. Marissa Tomei, though. Not tomato. Tomei, though.
I think it's tomato.
She is just hot.
She is a very attractive woman.
She is an attractive woman. I don't mean to objectify, but like it's just a fact. It's just a fact that you can't be denied. And they talk about it a lot during the movie.
Yeah,
they riff on how hot Marissa Tomei is.
When Tony Stark's like, oh hey, okay, let's film something for your aunt real quick, and he's just like, hey May, how you doing? Hoping you're wearing something skimpy or something like that.
Something like that. And then she's like, she gets all like the free food from at the restaurant that they're at or whatever.
I think I was talking with one of my other friends, and they were saying like, even if Aunt May was back to being like 80 something years old or however she was in the earlier movies, Tony Stark would still tap that. Oh,
Tony Stark knows no limits.
Nope. There's no bounds.
So anyway, overall, the movie is fantastic. If I were to score it out of 10, I think I gave it an 8.5. Just because it's really good. It's not the best Marvel movie that the MCU has. It's got a little bit of... It's got some issues, and I'll talk about them later, but, like, overall, it's a phenomenal movie.
Well, it's like what you and I were talking about in the car driving home from the movie with everybody is this is the first movie that Marvel has done in a very long time, which is character development, which we're not really used to seeing anymore. Right. I mean, we have... God, Thor is a literal god trying to be human.
Well, and, Thor, the actual Thor movie is very close as far as character development goes to this movie. Just because what Marvel needs more of right now, and I'm glad they did, is a more focused, small narrative. Because there's a lot of issues that Marvel movies have that affect an entire planet, an entire civilization, an entire galaxy, an entire universe kind of stuff.
Whereas this is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
It's in Bronx. It's in Queens. I'm sorry. It's in Queens. And the entire conflict is centered in Queens.
Yeah.
And they make a point of mentioning it during the movie where the Vulture, the conflict that's going on is below the Avengers pay grade, because it is. It's what they needed more, and Thor was very similar. Thor was, this Asgardian from this other world gets sent to this small town in New Mexico, and everything is around there. And they really haven't done much like that since Thor. And this movie is better than Thor. Just because the Thor movies haven't been great. And I really have a lot of hope for Ragnarok. Ragnarok looks amazing.
I think, to me personally, Chris Hemsworth, right?
Hemsworth.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Hemingway, and that's wrong.
Chris Hemingway.
Excuse me. Yes, exactly. I hated A Movable Feast. Anyway, I think that the reason for me personally that Thor didn't work. Yes, he's a good-looking man, but I don't want to see Thor as a romance, and that's how they sold it. They didn't sell it as a Marvel movie. They sold it as a sexy, almost Twilight romance between a god and a human woman.
It did feel that way. Well, it was the Jane Foster character was the what humanized
Thor the god.
That was the point, but it did become too much of a like Captain America. The first Captain America had a really good blend, or like it had the romance there with Agent Carter. Yeah, but like it didn't overpower the movie.
A good movie to me is with romance in it, is that the movie just kind of goes on and there's all that action and stuff like that, and then the romance happens as like a subplot. It just happens to kind of be there, and you're kind of rooting for it, but it's not like the main center.
Unless you're in like a romantic comedy. Unless like the romance is the actual conflict.
That's the thing. That's why they call it a rom-com, which I just found out why it's called a rom-com like literally about 8 months ago.
A romantic comedy, Sam.
Yes. Hey. Okay. I'm a Hufflepuff. We're not exactly the smart house.
So moving on a little bit, I want to talk about Michael Keaton's Vulture. Vulture is one of my favorite Spider-Man villains. Yeah. I don't know why he's one of my favorite. I think just because of the ludicrousness of the villain from the comics book perspective. Because comic book Vulture has feathers and is an old man.
You and I were talking about this, you and I being animators or trying to be animators. Yeah. It's not going very well. We're artists. We make jack.
Couple of artists who don't make art to live.
Yes, exactly.
But
I'm working on it here.
I remember, so Spider-Man 2 the game, like when Spider-Man 2, like the Chubby Maguire one came out. Yeah. Spider-Man 2 the game is the best Spider-Man game that's ever been released.
I've heard really good things about it. I have not played it. I believe I played the first one when it first came out when I was super young.
The big pioneering thing that it had was an open city that you could
I also heard, if I'm remembering right, and somebody's going to yell at me about this in the comments, I heard that the soundtrack was really good for
I don't recall.
Number 2.
I don't recall. It was on PlayStation 2. I was there because I wanted to swing through webs, and that was it. That was all I didn't even do any missions. I would just go through the city. But anyway, I remember Vulture was one of the villains in the game. Yeah. And I remember having the thought of, I have no idea how they could ever do a live action Vulture as a villain, which is a bummer because I like him. Yeah. And here we are now, and it was brilliant.
It was brilliantly done. Yes. I agree, because like I don't know about any other people listening to this podcast, if you animate or if you not. Feathers, hair, anything of the like that that's supposed to be soft looking is
the worst
to animate, because like you got to make something feel organic and fluffy and not super harsh and whatnot. But what they did here is that they took something that's, fluffy, girly, powder puff, whatever, and they turned it into something that is potentially threatening, lethal, and deadly, and it's terrifying. Like I would be terrified.
That was the thing. They turned Vulture into a terrifying
even more
villain with a terrifying presence. Yeah. And Michael Keaton. I love Michael Keaton. He was one of my favorite Batmans. He's not my favorite Batman, and everybody's going to yell at me. Shut the fuck up. But Michael Keaton is just a phenomenal actor.
Oh, yeah. Always has been.
But this villain role, it's so new. It's such a different villain than any of the other villains have ever. So, I don't know if you know. I don't know. Maybe some of the people listening might know. Marvel has what's called a villain problem, which is the only memorable villain that Marvel has is Loki. That's it.
And he's not even really a villain anymore. He's a hero.
Is he hero? Is he not?
He's cocky.
Yeah,
he's cocky British.
But
man.
every other villain is used for a movie and never mentioned again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, but this is the first one where not only are they setting up Vulture to come back, but he's such an amazing villain because he presents himself as both a father trying to support his family.
Exactly.
And this super menacing, psychopath. Mm-hmm. And it blends... So, a lot of movies, they'll portray the character that way. But, they don't ever show his humanity. They just show him being evil.
And even in this movie, they didn't really show his humanity too much, aside from being a contractor or maybe some sort of an engineer. I'm guessing he's got an engineer degree.
Until, though...
Yes.
He comes home to take Liz to Homecoming.
Exactly.
And he's the father. And you got to see him in a paternal role.
And not only that, we get to know who Liz is.
Yeah.
So we kind of understand,
I did not see it coming.
I didn't either, actually.
And it blew me away. And the car ride that they share was, some of the most suspenseful tension I have felt in a movie in a long time.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sitting next to you, but I was sandwiched between Veronica and Conan.
Yeah.
Basically. And I was, sitting there and, just, shaking my hands, oh my gosh, shut the fuck
watching
up.
him start to slowly realize who Tom Holland, or who Peter Parker is.
Yeah. Ronnie was whispering, it's okay, Sam.
Oh, man.
It's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not.
It's so good. But it was so interesting that they portrayed this villain, after him having done these terrible things, to be part of a family and to be happy and laugh and, hey, come here, slugger, you're taking my daughter to Homecoming. Here, I'll drive you, no problem.
He's giving him a hard time doing the stereotypical dad things that dads do.
It added a whole new layer to the villain that Marvel rarely has done since, other than Loki with the whole maybe he's a hero, maybe not.
And I actually prefer Marvel movies to DC movies. I'm going to get a lot of crap for that. But
genuinely better. Wonder Woman's amazing, but overall MCU is better.
That's for another topic. I'm not going to get into Wonder Woman right now. I haven't even seen it yet. I want to. Anyway, where was I going with this? Hold on. We're going to take a quick break because I need to take insulin. So we'll edit this out.
Pause.
Okay, sorry about that. And we're back.
Sorry about that.
So, I'm slurring a lot. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I'm not just another stupid girl who doesn't know what she's talking about, even though I probably am. I'm a diabetic. If my blood sugar gets super high, I tend to slur sometimes, or I even stutter. So anyway, back to my original thought, if I can remember it, and I think I do. Marvel, to me, since the beginning, they've always done these really good stories and whatnot, but they cram so much into one movie that we don't get to flesh out a whole lot of the characters. And that was one of my main beefs with Avengers. Whereas this Spider-Man Homecoming movie, we get a lot more story and we get a lot more character development, and it was just such a nice refresher.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, and that was the thing with Avengers though, was all of the character building was supposed to have been done up to that point so they could just focus on the big fight. But this is something that Marvel needs more of. It's a very localized, small scale story that is focused. It's more character driven than conflict driven.
Exactly.
And it's just fantastic. It was just a good movie. I'm going to talk about what I didn't like, and people are going to get mad at me.
That's fine. I'm always mad at you.
The problem I had with the movie, and it's not even that it's a bad thing.
Was it the fact that they played the only one fucking Ramones song that they fucking know?
Well, yeah. So we'll talk about the Ramones song first.
Sorry.
There's one Ramones song.
There's only one Ramones song. There's only
one Ramones song. I'm going to type in Ramones into Google. We're going to see if it comes up.
Edit this out.
Blitzkrieg Bop. Yeah. It's Blitzkrieg Bop and I Want to Be Sedated are the two.
I was going to say, they have other good songs.
Yeah, they have other good songs.
Like, I Want to Be Sedated.
But every time,
yeah.
Every time you think of that time
And you know, the Ramones do have good songs, but it kind of... It bugs me that that's the only song that tends to get played in movies, and I think I remember even leaning over to you, like, is that song even licensed anymore? Because I've heard it in fucking everything.
I don't know copyright law enough to know if it is fair use or not at this point. I'm not 100% sure.
You know, as far back as I can remember, that song's been played so much. And, you know, they used it in Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, so, yes, they did. Yeah. Oh, man, they did. Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah. But the Ramones... It bugs me that this is the only song that they're known for. Ramones apparently was like the first quote-unquote punk rock band, which kind of, I'm going to go on a
rant. Them and the Rolling Stones, I think, started, and Sex Pistols.
I was going to say, fucking Sex Pistols. So Ramones only has this one fucking song that they're known for, just like the Sex Pistols only have fucking Sid Vicious, which, you know, fucking Glenn Matlock did all the bass work for him. Sid Vicious is the most famous fucking bassist to never fucking play bass!
And that's how we clip a mic.
Yeah, exactly. and I'm not like dissing the Sex Pistols. I fucking love the Sex Pistols. I have their one album.
Yeah, I was saying they're the best. They're the best band with one album.
Yeah, I actually wore Sex Pistols and Sid Vicious shirts.
Everybody does. That's just typical. Everybody goes through a Sex Pistols phase.
I saw this one kid wearing a Vans shirt at my cousin's graduation. And he had Sex Pistols on the collar, like, just sewn in, and I'm just like...
Trying real hard to make a Sex Pistols shirt.
Yeah, it didn't suit well with me with the purple plaid.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'm not gonna harsh in on his taste of music, so you go, 15-year-old. You go.
So that was Sam's problem with the movie, was Blitzkrieg Bop being...
Mostly.
1 out of 10, literally unwatchable.
I literally was just like, this fucking song...
Mine is a little more pretentious. Mine was the problem I had was that the story was really predictable from a very general standpoint, because it's a story that's been done 1,000 times, and I was hoping they were going to do something kind of new, and they didn't. So here's an example. I have a buddy of mine who I work with, who I gave him what I thought the entire synopsis of this movie was going to be, and I was right on like 9 points out of 10. Other than Mary Jane was the only thing I didn't catch. Was the only thing I didn't catch was Mary Jane, because I thought he was going to end up with Liz. He does not.
I figured he wouldn't end up with Liz. I'm like, okay, I don't know who Liz is. Mind you, I didn't read the Spider-Man comic books, but you would think Liz would have come up somewhere.
Yeah.
Prior to this.
To my knowledge, Spider-Man has two main, which is Mary Jane Watson and Gwen Stacy.
Exactly.
Are the two. Yeah. I didn't know who Liz was going in. I don't know. I thought it might have been a new character that they were adding, which it was.
She was too bland to be written in. That's why I kind of figured. Me being a female, seeing another female being poorly portrayed on screen, it wasn't going to happen.
So I actually wrote up a synopsis of what I thought the movie was going to be and what it ended up being. So
here comes the bad reading.
Here comes my interpretation of the movie. Act 1, the beginning of Act 1, because it's a 3-act structure.
I'm going to go take a nap while you read this.
Yeah, this is where we get pretentious. The hero uses the abilities that he has to fantastic effect and doesn't realize his own limits, and they introduce the villain. Right? That's what happened. Because they do like the train or the bank robbery and stuff. And the bicycle, where he steals the bicycle from the guy stealing it. He's like, "Hey, is this your bike?
Is this your bike? Is this your bike? Hey, is this your bike? Don't steal it!"
Act 1 ended with the hero realizes he's not as strong as he thinks he is and is defeated by the villain first time. Very common story structure.
Well, we gotta kind of bring down these characters that are so amazing. We gotta make them. We gotta empathize with them.
They can't be infallible. No, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why that's what I'm saying. This isn't necessarily a bad thing.
No.
Because it works.
This is what Hollywood is just kind of doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now.
The beginning of Act 2 is the hero works diligently to get stronger and learns more about the villain. This is at the point when he's like trying to get more into his crew, and that's where he meets Donald Glover's character, who I found out after the fact. He mentions his nephew lives around wherever they are. I didn't connect the dots in the movie, but he's Miles Morales' uncle. Miles Morales is who takes over for Spider-Man after Peter Parker.
Oh, yeah. I see. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah. I remember now. Me not reading Spider-Man, I get snips here and there on the internet, and when I go to like comic shops and whatnot, I hear people talking. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I always became like a DC reader.
Well, yeah. I always liked Marvel the most, but Batman is my favorite.
Yeah, well, that's all that DC's really got going for them right now because, I mean, like, different topic.
People argue.
Different podcast.
Okay, anyway, going back to my thing. The end of Act 2 is the hero is defeated once again and has his powers taken away from him. This is when Tony Stark... This is the boat scene. When the boat gets cut in half, Tony Stark takes away his suit.
If you actually cared about me, you'd show up in person. I am in person.
Yeah. But this is the...
Oh, shit.
This is the speech where he's like, if you're nothing without the suit, then you don't deserve it.
See, and I thought... I'm gonna cut in real quick. Sorry. The fact that he's just like, if you're nothing without the suit, then you don't deserve it. I thought that they were gonna do that with Vulture. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for Parker to be like, if you're nothing without the suit,
to have that,
you're nothing.
Because there was that. See, that would have been cool. I'd have liked that.
Because there was that, towards the end when they're fighting and whatnot, the suit's like, knocking down the pillars and whatnot, and then, it's about to explode later on. I was waiting for it, because without the suit, he's just a man.
He's just a man.
Who has a very impressive engineering degree.
Well, most of that is because of the Tinkerer. But we'll get to him.
Yeah.
We'll get to him.
Oh, okay.
Going back to the acts. The beginning of Act 3, the hero realizes his power is inside himself all along and can't be taken away from him, and he puts his heart and soul into the conflict, where he actually is just like, this is important, I need to actually like give this some thought. And then Act 3, he defeats the villain with the power he found inside himself. That's basically the movie. And that's very similar structure, because that's also, like, Luke Skywalker follows a similar story structure with when he fights Darth Vader the first time and the second time. Batman during The Dark Knight Rises, when Bane breaks his back, there's a similar kind of thing. It's a very common theme in movies. And that was my only problem with it, was it's a story that was we kind of knew what was going to happen. Yeah. Because it was a Hollywood movie. Mm-hmm. But that being said, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because playing it safe for this particular movie might have been the best call, coming from the heels of 5 other Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was my gripe. Yell at me if you want. It's still a great movie.
I think it's a great idea that they played it safe for this Spider-Man movie, because it's like you said, they've made five other versions, and let's face it,
and
the
third of them are good.
Yeah, the third Tobey Maguire movie was so
that's
bad.
A fucking travesty.
I was emo, and when I went to see that movie, I'm dressed up in my like all black fishnets and stuff, and I'm watching this movie, and even I was just like,
it's too much.
Such a fucking.
It's too much, and they ruined.
I never thought there was.
They ruined Venom, and I hope they redo Venom.
It was also, actually, I wanted to add, it was really nice not to have the Green Goblin come in.
Yeah. Well, so here's another fun behind the scenes, or like in the comic book thing.
The more you know.
The more you know. Peter Parker's best friend, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But
Stevie.
Yeah, that guy. The man in the chair character.
Oh, I call him Wade, because to me he looks like Wade from Kim Possible.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Put up a picture of Wade.
Ivan. Put a fucking picture of Wade.
We need you.
As the icon. We'll compare him side by side.
Oh man. But anyway.
1, he's big. 2, he fits in a chair.
These are his main characteristics.
That's about it.
But so anyway, that character in the comics gets corrupted by Green Goblin and becomes Hobgoblin. I think it's by Green Goblin. It may be the first Hobgoblin corrupts him, but he becomes Hobgoblin. He becomes a really big villain, and it's a road they may go down. I don't know. Because they're getting close to Infinity Wars, and I think they're doing a Spider-Man sequel before Infinity Wars finishes.
That would be nice.
So I hope personally, if we're just tossing out ideas, and Kevin Feige is listening to this podcast, I would like Carnage as part of the Spider-Man sequel. Carnage is... I don't know if you're familiar with who Carnage is.
Yeah, but...
He's basically Venom were he to attach to himself to like a psychopathic serial killer. It's fucking crazy. I love Carnage. But they did tease the Sinister Six. Yeah. At the end, during the end credit scene with Scorpion, and they have the Shocker, and they have the Tinkerer, who is the guy who was making all of the gadgets and shit like that. Yeah. It's the Tinkerer. I had a friend of mine say they were reminded of me by the Tinkerer because I apparently have that same demeanor that he had. I don't know. I didn't know whether or not to be insulted when they told me that.
I don't know. I was just like, because you... No offense.
No offense.
You are like, hey, fucking shit, and this and this and that. And this guy's just like, well,
super reserved.
Did you know? Super quiet.
The brain is made up of millions of neurons.
Yeah. He kind of... How do I describe it?
Anyway, nobody... put up a picture of Tinkerer. Put up a picture of me. I'll let you decide. Apparently, they say I kind of look like him.
No, only pictures of Wade and...
Only pictures of Wade.
And Ned.
Ivan, scratch that out. Pictures of Wade. Pictures of the guy who we can't remember his name. Put his name up there so we can remember. Yeah. Cool, that guy. And then put them side by side. Okay, now scratch that. Now put a picture of a monkey. And now make that monkey green.
And now it's Beast Boy.
And now it's Beast Boy. Got that?
Oh, wait, no. You know what? It has to be red. Because Beast Boy is now red, which has to do with the green. And
Teen Titans Go doesn't count. I refuse to acknowledge that show's existence.
I'm not talking about Teen Titans Go. I am talking about the New 52. Which is really bullshit to me that they made him red. I understand why they did it for the red. This is for another podcast. Yeah. But
Ivan, make him red. Make him red.
No. Now back to green.
Now back to green.
That's how you do it.
Thank you. Now you can get rid of all that.
Cool. Ivan's our editor, by the way.
You're doing God's work, Ivan. Yeah, he's our editor. Not me in a mustache. He's our editor.
You ruined the joke.
No, it's not ruined. It's not me in a mustache. It's 100% not me in a mustache.
But you already have a mustache.
That's why it's not. That's what I'm saying. All I'm saying is Ivan's not me. Have you seen Ivan and me in the same room? Yes. Kind of. Sometimes. Anyway. What else do we want to talk about as far as Spider-Man as the villains go? Because it was interesting how they actually managed to juggle 3 villains without any of them feeling overshadowed by the other, which is what like Spider-Man 3 tried to do, which is what Amazing Spider-Man 2 tried to do, and both of them failed. And this is the first one to actually accomplish it. Because they realized that one villain has to be the main villain, and the other 2 are sub-villains. Which...
Batman was kind of doing that for a little while there, too. Usually, one overshadows the other ones. Heath Ledger's Joker being totally in the spotlight versus Scarecrow and whatnot, and who else was in there? I'm rambling on.
Yeah. It's a podcast.
Go ahead. Yeah. People aren't used to shitty podcasts, Sam. God, gosh. I'm that girl. I'm just here for the witty humor and the boys who need wet dreams at night.
Boys who need wet dreams at night would be a good name for a band.
Everything's a good name for a band.
So
I need another shot of insulin.
Do you genuinely?
In between my toes.
Oh. I'm concerned now.
No. My when I worked at a certain hipster store, can't say it for reasons.
It's cold genre.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I only worked there for literally not even a week during the holiday season, and my supervisor at the time was I take insulin between my toes, and she would always make fun of me for it because I would be like, I'm not a heroin addict.
You sound like a B character from Rick and Morty.
Oh, yeah. Justin Roiland! Put me on the show!
I can take you down the steps for 25 schmickles.
Sorry, guys. That was our mic falling over.
You don't hit the table.
I didn't fucking hit the table. Sorry, I shouldn't be cursing at you.
I don't give a fuck.
I try really hard not to curse lately.
I don't give a fuck. Whoever's listening to us, guys, we curse. I don't know if you've noticed yet. But it's a thing that happens.
What up, my glip-glops? That's something we could talk about. Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty. Well, that's another podcast.
Season 3!
We'll do a Season 3 podcast.
There's too many other podcasts, and we don't have any material for those other podcasts we've mentioned.
Yeah.
We have nothing written up. We hardly have anything written up for this podcast.
We just want to talk about Spider-Man. That's all we wanted to do. This seems super behind the scenesy for a podcast, because now we're arguing about the podcast.
Yeah. Well, it's the first podcast. You know what? It's like when I was saying, when I freaking ran my animation club at my college, it's the first thing that it's ever something like this has happened at this fucking place. It's gonna be a fucking shit show for the first couple of tries. Like this podcast.
I just don't know why you're yelling at me.
I yell. I am a very angry person, according to the state. No, joking.
Don't give away personal information. You don't gotta go so personal.
No, I'm joking, people. I'm actually not a very angry person. I'm just, I'm one of those people who yells.
Don't defend yourself. You've been yelling at me this whole time.
Because you're a terrible person.
Well, that's beside the point.
Spider-Man.
Let's talk about Spider-Man some more. It was good.
But I want to talk about your diabetes jokes.
Your
diabetes jokes. That I find hilarious and funny.
It's more of a story and less of a joke.
It's an amazing story.
My
blood sugars are high.
I work in a place where once a month we have a morning meeting, and we all kind of sit in a circle and talk about stuff that's going on in my place of business. One of the people I work with, whom I was sitting next to, has diabetes. And, it's not a big deal. He takes care of it. Nothing fine. But he left his insulin sitting out on the desk in front of him, like the entire meeting. And I didn't take away his insulin. I didn't, fuck with it or anything like that. He was just there. So anyway, we were in the morning meeting, and we had to be quiet. Like, our boss was talking. Mm-hmm. And he whispers to me, he goes, "Hey, Sean, do you want some insulin?" And I was like, "No, thanks. I make my own." And the look on his face is probably the most flabbergasted, hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life. And the person sitting next to him on his opposite side almost fell out of his chair laughing while our boss is talking. So I'm sitting here like, no, I kind of had this realization of I will never be that funny in the moment again.
Ever.
And only 3 people got to hear this goddamn story, and that's why I tell it freaking everybody.
But then when you told it to me, who is a type 1 diabetic for the past 21 years, my diabetes can legally drink, I found it freaking hilarious. I'm like, I approve. Because every diabetic, I know maybe like 5 diabetics off the top of my head that I grew up with that were also type 1, we have all made that joke like, hey, you want some insulin? Help take the edge off, man. Make it pass out.
No thanks, I'll make my own.
Yes.
I will never achieve anything higher than that in the moment.
No.
But yeah, he didn't know how to take it at first, and I started laughing. And
must be a type 2 diabetic.
He was a type 2 diabetic. He's such a type 2.
Go walk!
Whoa! I mean, yeah. Sorry, I'm not gonna shame anybody's life decisions.
Sorry to anybody who's actually type 2 listening to this. I'm so sorry. But, you can actually cure your diabetes, and I can't because I have bad genetics. Go walk with your dog, or your sister, your mother, your brother. Everybody get together and go walk.
I'm taking no part in what you are saying right now. I am just remarking on the fact that there's a hair in my water, and I don't have an animal.
Well, maybe you're just going bald.
Don't say that.
You have, facial hair too.
It's not one of my hairs. I know my hair when I see it. I think.
Well, it's not one of mine.
No, I don't know. It looks like a dog hair. And I don't have a dog. So anyway.
Maybe it's like a bug antenna. Like a cockroach antenna.
Why would you say that? No, it's too bad.
Because I want to, give you nightmares at night.
I don't like it.
Halloween is only...
Are you literally counting how many...
No! What, 3 months away, 4 months away?
What do you mean, like 3 months away?
Yeah, it's like 3 months away. It's only 3 months away, Sean! I'm getting excited!
Yeah.
I don't care about your neighbors.
Yeah, or the clipping mic. Either way.
And we have a good microphone.
Yeah, we have a decent microphone. I don't know if it's good. It's a decent microphone. I like it.
As it keeps falling down. I use it for my stuff.
Don't worry about how down it's going. It's okay. It's loud.
It's not very excited.
Look, man, it's just not aroused, and that's okay. Sometimes people have problems with that.
We've hit the stupid sexual jokes, apparently.
You were screaming at me earlier about diabetes-related stuff, so I think I've earned a sexual joke or two.
All right. I will let you finish. Ayo!
Don't hit. That's how you hit. That's how you knock over the mic, Sam.
Good.
This fucking podcast
This is the part of where the podcast goes, to fucking hell.
This is a fucking travesty. Are we even talking about
Our
Spider-Man?
3 listeners are just like... I find these people totally relatable because I hang out with them.
What even is Spider-Man? Like, in its core?
He's a spider in the body of a man.
It's crazy.
That is.
It's crazy.
Who swings like a monkey from webs.
I guess. I mean, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
So anyway, I'm gonna, go away from Spider-Man again.
Yeah?
Yeah. Anyway. Back to Spider-Man.
Back to Spider-Man.
Back to Spider-Man.
What would you want to see in a sequel?
I want to see more of MJ, obviously.
Well, yeah, I think that's a given.
What was... I totally forgot. Karen. I want to see more
Karen!
of Karen.
Oh, we need to talk about Karen.
I was thinking about that, halfway through the podcast. Karen is the best character.
Karen is the best character in the whole goddamn movie. Karen is the suit lady.
Yeah, Karen is the suit. Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
But it's
Friday,
Karen.
right? I want to believe that Karen is a SpongeBob SquarePants reference. That is what I choose to believe.
What reference is this that you're
Plankton's
talking about?
Wife, who is the
Karen.
computer, is Karen.
So, you're right. It's been a while since I've seen SpongeBob. I as an animator,
you should fix that.
It is as an animator, I will watch all sorts of shows, including mostly Cartoon Network, and I really hope when I'm walking Comic-Con, even though I can't go inside, I really run into Sucrose Overlord, which most people.
I have no idea who that is.
You know her as Rebecca Sugar.
Oh yes,
Call her Sucrose Overlord.
Yeah. Steven Universe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but for some reason, I just got so tired of SpongeBob when I was younger because they kept playing the same freaking episodes over and over, the same 9.
Yeah.
For 3 to 6 months or something like that. Because I guess that the show was originally quote unquote over, and just as I lost my cable because we were broke and poor.
The show never. I don't know. The show never ended.
It never really ended.
It'll go on like The Simpsons. It'll never.
No, because
it'll never end.
This is what. Nickelodeon, maybe I should leave this for another podcast. 80 billion podcasts! And you can listen about this theory on a much better podcast, which I'm not going to talk about because he doesn't notice me, senpai. Nickelodeon does this thing right now where they know that SpongeBob is safe and SpongeBob is marketable. SpongeBob is a face that is recognizable and it's easy to make toys out of.
Oh, yeah,
they
absolutely.
make a lot of SpongeBob. Nickelodeon will make more money producing and showing SpongeBob reruns for the next 6 months than, say, making new episodes of The Loud House, which is Nickelodeon's one of their newer cartoons right now. I know you probably haven't.
I don't even have cable.
Yeah.
In my house.
So. You have internet.
I have internet.
I don't even have cable, and I have internet, and I watch things because things are good.
I just watch a lot on YouTube and on Netflix and on Hulu. Hulu just added an HBO subscription, and if you pay for Hulu without ads, it's $11.99. Totally worth it. HBO add-on on top of that is an extra $15. It's more than the actual Hulu subscription.
Way to sell out, Sean.
I'm pissed off at them. I don't know what you're talking about. Hulu. Pay me. I'll sell my soul to Hulu. Because if they want to give me a free subscription. Honestly, I pay it for it without ads just because I hate ads. But no, I was pissed off because I'm not a Game of Thrones fan. Mm-hmm. But HBO has Last Week Tonight and Westworld that I wanted to watch. I've never watched Westworld and I've heard it's super good and it's done by Jonathan Nolan and it's all these cool things. I'm not going to pay more for that subscription than the actual subscription that is hosting that subscription. You know what I mean?
Subscription-ception.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I get it.
Yeah.
I get where you're going.
pissed me off when I saw it. I'm like, ooh, if it's like an extra $5 or $6, maybe I'll consider it.
See, I just get Netflix, and then my sister has her boyfriend's Hulu account who doesn't use it, so she uses it. She lets my dad use it.
Yeah.
And then her boyfriend's siblings, I guess, use it, and his roommates, and it's just like, everybody has the Hulu.
Yeah, it's like a Netflix subscription. No, I don't believe anybody actually pays for Netflix. Like, I pay for Netflix. I
don't think anybody actually does.
I don't pay for Netflix. Like, I just have Netflix.
Yeah.
And everybody I know has Netflix because of me. But, like, there's like a circle of people who own Netflix.
Yeah.
It's like 5 people in the world own Netflix.
Like me.
And everybody else watches off one of theirs.
Like me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm that one. But I don't actually give my password out.
When I give out my Netflix, I basically tell whoever I give it to, if I ever run into a problem watching Netflix, everybody's getting kicked off. Everybody.
Yeah. Something like that was happening. I went to watch Netflix, and my sister didn't have it, and my dad and I, we actually pay together. We pay for 2 people to watch 2 different screens at once. So my dad was watching something, I went to watch something, and then my sister turned it on because she didn't have Netflix for the month, because heaven forbid she can't watch something else on TV because she actually has cable.
Right.
I got kicked off mine, and I was just like, oh, hell no! And kind of got all, like, sassy African-American on her. Was that racist? Let's cut that out. I got sassy on her.
An African-American can be sassy. That's not offensive. But the fact that she's sassy is not because she's African. You give 2 separate adjectives about the person.
Cut this out.
Ivan, edit out this episode.
I really want to talk about Static Shock for some reason.
Why?
I don't know. Because I guess for some reason Spider-Man
is not like Static Shock.
Static Shock. They go hand in hand for me.
No, they don't.
I know, but I think it's because, like, around the time that the Tobey Maguire movies came out, Static Shock...
Well, yeah. I mean, that's true.
...was playing still, and I feel like Spider-Man and Static Shock are both underrated superheroes a lot of the time. I guess.
Spider-Man is my 3rd favorite superhero.
A lot of the time, though, for my friends, it seems like when people talk about Spider-Man, they talk about Spider-Man and Deadpool. And it's not even Spider-Man and Deadpool, it's Deadpool and Spider-Man.
Yeah, because they're shipped a lot together.
Spidey Pool.
And there's a whole comic series dedicated to their adventures.
Yeah, apparently Deadpool visits different parts of the internet that Peter Parker doesn't.
Well, yeah. No.
Sean's a Spidey Pool. Do you support Spidey Pool?
I support love.
Love is love.
I just want people to like each other, you know what I mean?
Says the man who hates everybody.
I hate literally everything. I don't even have friends. Sam is just me doing another voice.
Yes.
Very
good at it.
Mm-hmm. Almost choked on water.
I especially like it when I do that thing where I do both voices at the same time. Because the Sean character of me has just so much to say, whereas the Sam character of me is going into a diabetic coma from sugar.
That's right. When I'm doing that character, I am diabetic.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like, I can feel my lips like, blah, blah, blah. Like, water.
Okay. Coming back to Spider-Man, because the actual title of this episode is Spider-Man something.
Homecoming.
I want to talk about, I want to compare and contrast Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2, in my opinion, was the last good Spider-Man. Because I didn't think Amazing Spider-Man 1 or 2 were that good. Oh, 1 was okay. I thought 2 was a train wreck.
We're talking about 2 with Tobey Maguire?
Tobey Maguire 2.
Okay.
With Doc Ock.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think the movies are different, but just from a villain perspective, they both had super memorable villains. Mm-hmm. And who do you like more? Michael Keaton's Vulture or what's-his-face as Doc Ock? I'm going to look up his name so I can give him credit where credit is due. Give me 2 seconds. But anyway.
Oh, that's a hard one because Doc Ock is definitely... humanize him too in Spider-Man 2.
Well, he starts off human and becomes inhuman.
Yeah, well, I mean...
Because his wife gets killed, and that's
you feel for him because we feel, in the beginning, not much, who he is as a character. He's definitely driven to...
Alfred Molina.
There you go.
Yeah.
He's driven to make his invention work. He has a loving wife, and then she passes away, and he's pushed by vengeance. He's mourning her death. He wants revenge against Spider-Man.
Well, it's not even him. It's the claws.
Yeah.
That mess with his brain.
Messing with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Because he's human. Under everything, he's human. And it's different. It's done in the opposite way that Homecoming's done. Because Doc Ock was done, he starts off human, becomes inhuman. And Michael Keaton's is the opposite. He starts off as this inhuman character who you actually learn is superhuman.
Yeah. And that makes me wonder, like, is he more the superhuman on top and then the humane part is just an act? Because that's how I feel it is. Because, like, the father figure, yes, he is a father. And yeah, he says he's a father first and whatnot. Sure. But he's a supervillain.
I think his family is his motivation to be bad. I think is what it is.
He hates the rich. It's like he was saying, the rich only care about the rich. They don't care about us little people, Parker.
Yeah.
They don't care about us. You really think that you're going to become some big shot.
Mm-hmm. And
Parker does have the after Tony Stark's awesome speech. She's like, no, you know what? No thanks. I don't want the awesome Avenger glory. I'm gonna just be your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Well, that surprised me. I'm wondering what that means for the future of Spider-Man in terms of Avengers. I was
wondering about that. Yeah,
because he's not an Avenger.
He's not an Avenger. No. Spoilers.
Well, yeah. Spoiler alert. He's not. He gets offered to be an Avenger and turns it down, which is a great coming to learning moment for Peter Parker as a character. Mm-hmm. It's a great character arc.
He's still a child, and he realizes that he is still a child. He is not this big badass Spider-Man that he thought he was. Right. He comes to terms with he still has a lot to learn under the wing of Tony Stark.
Right.
And the other superheroes that he'll meet along the way.
So, I don't know. I wonder, because he's part of Infinity Wars. I've seen a bunch of the behind the scenes stuff. Tom Holland's there, so he's part of it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just they bring him in.
I feel like with Tom Holland's character as Spider-Man, though, I think that Spider-Man eventually will become the best superhero out of the Marvel series, cinematic-wise.
Sure.
Because we get to see him, as a scrawny little kid trying to be cool and whatnot, thinking he's badass, being brought down a couple pegs.
Right.
And he's going to be learning from it. And then, Aunt May just found out, what the...
Oh, yeah, that was good. Also, Gwyneth Paltrow is back. Pepper Potts.
Yes, you're right.
He's back, which I did not see coming at all. And this is a weird time to do that bombshell. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm really happy to see that because I like Pepper Potts as a character.
Yeah.
I liked her.
Everybody did.
Yeah. I liked her.
Everybody loved her because she was the only one who would mouth off Tony.
Who would put up with his shit.
Yeah.
But so going back to Spider-Man 2.
This podcast is all over.
It's everywhere. It's a train wreck. But I'm just going to say this. It may be an unpopular opinion. Or I don't know. I don't like Kirsten Dunst. Like at all. I don't like her in any role she's ever been in.
I don't know why. I want to say I really like her and she's a great actress because I've seen her in a lot of stuff. I feel like I've seen every one of her movies, but she's one of those actresses to me that doesn't really stand out, probably because she's not in the limelight a lot.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, she's always going to be Kiki from Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah.
She'll be MJ in the Spider-Man movies. She'll always be the braless wonder in each one of her movies.
Oh, God, I know. Jesus. It's
she's one of those actresses I kind of you kind of forget about.
Yeah.
To me personally, which I feel like it's a sin to say that.
I just don't like her. That's the thing. It's like whenever she's in a role, I can't sympathize with the character. I can't empathize with her struggles, and I don't see her as a part of a romance. just don't. And that's just me personally. I just... So having a new MJ who was more...
kind of more, like, totally doesn't give a crap how other people view her.
Yeah, as a character, I love her more.
She's very raw, and how do I describe? She's definitely like she's not trying.
No.
Which I like.
Sure. Yeah.
And she does want friends. We could see that. We can definitely see that. But she's just like, hey, it's Parker, and flips him off, and that's Spider-Man's one F-bomb.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
I realized.
I love it.
Yeah. And I think that the reason why we empathize with her more is because of how nonchalant she is and how comfortable she is with everybody and just being alone and being her own person. Whereas Kirsten Dunst's MJ is, oh, well, I'm going to be an actress and I'm going to be da-da-da-da-da and I'm super pretty with my red hair and I'm super smart. Which has been played to death. Yeah. It really
I'm glad they did it the way they did it. Because, like, Liz, I think, represented that kind of character.
Yeah. It was also really nice to see a young, beautiful girl just acting like a normal human being. Like, me being a woman, like, I'm kind of tired of seeing, like, all the makeup and the super skinny chicks, and how do I describe it? I'm going diabetic coma.
No, it felt very real. It felt very believable. Every performance felt very just, not overdone, not overacted. Yeah. It felt like a high school.
Which is probably why you and we didn't like Liz that much, because she's felt very blah. She
reminded me of the girls I didn't like in high school. Definitely.
Well, I'm sorry to bring up your dark past.
The girls I didn't like in high school? Yeah. I had a girlfriend all through high school. I'm fine. I had all through high school.
But you know, she was gorgeous. She was definitely very pretty. But I mean, like, all the makeup, but her personality was very blah, and how dumb she was, like, in the car talking to her dad, like, oh, Peter, you're always disappearing. Get the Stark Foundation. You got the Tony, you got this Tony Stark.
God, I was cringing in my seat, like, oh, just shut up. Shut up, Liz. Oh my God, that scene is such a great scene.
If you really pay attention, and this is why I really love how this film was directed, you can tell, I think Mary Jane already knows that Peter is Spider-Man.
I think so too.
Yeah, because you could tell there are very small snippets, like, even if you blink, you'll miss them. Like, there are times where she just looks at Peter and you know something. Yeah. She might not know it exactly, but she knows there's something going on. Yeah, definitely. And that's bigger than high school.
I'm excited to see their relationship come together. Like, that's a romance I'm actually, like, excited to see.
I want to see Karen try and rip it apart.
I adore Karen. Karen is the best character.
I don't want MJ anymore. Movie. We're done with MJ. We're done with Gwen Stacy. I want Peter Parker and Karen.
Oh God, it's so good.
I want them to bring her to life.
I love it so much.
And it's weird that she's got that monotone robotic voice, but she's still so sassy. And I love it.
Now's the chance. Kiss her.
Peter, kiss her. Ivan, roll that in. Roll that clip in. Just the audio. There you go.
If you can find it.
Yeah, probably we'll figure it out. It's been a week. The movie's been.
I'm not gonna pirate it. I mean, Ivan's not gonna pirate it.
Personally,
I don't condone that.
You and I, being animators, we sort of we get an idea of what happens when you pirate movies.
As artists and people who try and do things that we put out for free or. In the future might make money. I believe in supporting developers.
Exactly.
I believe, like, if I'm watching, like, a Let's Play of a video game, and I watch the entire Let's Play and I really like the game, after I'm done watching the Let's Play, I'll go buy the game. Even if I don't play it, because I want to support the people who made it.
And that's the thing about game developers. This is why games are like $60, $70, $80. Once a game is out, if it doesn't do well, you're not going to buy that game. They no longer make money. Whereas a movie will come out and they make all those
DVD
merchandise.
sales, Blu-ray sales, merchandise.
That'll go on forever.
Yeah.
But games, they're only going to make so much money off of it. Which is why it's like $60 at least.
Yeah. Well, and they're expensive to make.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
I actually have a lot more respect for video game developers and artists right now than I do for animators. And I'm an animator. But just all the coding, I could never do that. I took a coding, not even a class, just like a snippet of coding when we got to my digital media class. We did coding for like a week, and I was just like, I can't fucking do this.
Yeah, it's crazy. I did a little bit of it in college. I learned Java, HTML, and CSS. And
I think we did Java and Dreamweaver.
Yeah. Well, Dreamweaver's, just for HTML writing.
Yeah.
Dreamweaver's awesome. But, it's such an interesting process, and that's what I really want to get into. But anyway, I believe in supporting developers. I still buy CDs. I still pay for all of my music.
I buy
DVDs.
I buy DVDs, Blu-rays. I'm leaning away from DVDs lately because everything's going Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Because even though everything is going digital, people are still going to want those hard copies.
Yeah, I like having a hard copy.
I like having 100+ CDs and then never listening to them again after I put them on my computer.
Exactly. It's the dream.
Exactly. So that way when I get a new computer, I could upload all those CDs again.
No,
and then never listen to them because my iPod broke.
You just cloud storage them, man. Yeah. That's what I do.
Nobody understands the cloud, though.
I do. I work in IT.
I'm not that smart. I'm one of those people who just kind of like feeds off everybody else. Easy.
Anyway.
I'm like one of those people, though, when I'm explaining things to other people, I'm like, it's this thingy, and then I forgot what this is called, and I would be the worst IT person ever.
Life lesson from Chubby Cheese. Don't pirate. Just be cool. Buy the things. Support the people who make the things that you like. Don't use ad blocker. Make sure that... Yeah, it's Sam. Don't use ad blocker unless you're paying for a subscription that doesn't require ads. You know, like YouTube Red. Like, I'm not promoting YouTube Red, but, like, YouTube Red gets rid of ads and you have to pay money for it. And if you don't want to pay for YouTube Red, then you should watch ads. The people who make the content that you consume deserve to be paid for the content that they create.
My dad always gets so mad, and it really irritates me when he gets so mad about watching ads, like a 15-second ad on Hulu. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you're not even paying for it, Dad.
Yeah, well, that's true. I mean, like, I paid extra in my Hulu subscription so I didn't have to deal with ads.
Yeah.
But I'm paying to not have ads. Mm-hmm. Don't use ad blocker. Don't pirate movies. Don't download music. Don't buy your stuff, guys. I believe super strongly
Give all your money to Korea.
Give all your money to Koreans. Invest in Koreans.
Yeah. Which actually, that's what really hurts me lately, is that I'm hearing about all these shows that I personally watch, all these cartoon shows. Mm-hmm. Most of it, like, the only thing that's really done here lately is storyboard.
Yeah.
And then everything is just like, oh, okay, we just ship it off to Korea. Like, there's a Cartoon Network show I was really into, and then they just like, oh yeah, then we ship it off to Korea. We just like fool around in the boardroom and just make up stupid stories. Sometimes we play a little like trash basketball, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like super distressed when I heard that.
It's an industry, definitely.
Why can't I have been born Korean?
But yeah, then you'd have a stellar sweatshop animating career.
I'm okay with that.
Hand animating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho.
Anyway, I think we're going to wrap it up there.
All right, yeah.
We talked a lot about Spider-Man. We talked a little bit about Spider-Man and a lot about other things that were not Spider-Man.
And other podcasts that will never probably happen.
Yeah, exactly. Short version, the movie's amazing. Go see the movie. I think it's better than any other Spider-Man that's ever been released. Excellent addition to the MCU. I'm excited to see where they go. Mm-hmm. Sam, how do you feel? How do you feel about it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Which reminds me, speaking of yes, please come in, watch Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty. On the 30th of
Rick and Morty,
month?
July 30th.
July 30th, Rick and Morty.
We're gonna date the podcast.
Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
All day Rick and Morty.
I think if we do another podcast, the next one we do should be Rick and Morty. Just in general.
Yes, I am. And to my eyes, Sammy D. the lead, and I want you to watch Rick and Morty.
Watch Rick and Morty. We're not even paid. We're just fans of the show.
I just fucking love Justin Roiland. Give me free shit. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I love Justin Roiland.
Rick and Morty is freaking amazing. It's one of the best cartoons I've ever seen in my life. So we're ending a Spider-Man podcast.
This podcast is all over
with an advertisement for Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
But that's how
Rick and Morty.
That's the way the news goes.
That's the way the news goes. Rick and Morty. All day Rick and Morty. 100 years Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty, July 30th. That's 07.
I think we just
30.
Oh my god.
17.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. All day Rick and Morty.
All right. Next podcast we'll do Rick and Morty.
Rick and Morty.
Maybe we'll bring on.
We need a drink. Too. I can't drink because I'm diabetic. I will literally die.
Go see Spiderman Homecoming.
Go see Rick and Morty.
Go watch Rick and Morty.
Go if you haven't watched Rick and Morty. I am ants in my eyes, Sammy D, and I want you to go watch the first 2 seasons of Rick and Morty right now with Justin Roiland. Go and watch Mr. Meeseeks.
Oh my God, Ivan, edit out this episode.
Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.